hey, I just finished doing a concert with Paul Miller, and we are backstage, and we're done, But we are gonna do a tune for you. We're gonna do a melody that modulates.
Modulating melody.
And Paul has written his own melody just for you. Isn't that awesome?
And it will be played on the viola.
On the viola. They're good for other things than firewood.
All right, here we go. Are you ready?
I am.
Here we go. So I count out it's in 6/8,
Okay.
and you can do it in alto clef, and you start on. Should we give them the
actual note?
Let's give them the actual note.
Okay,
Starts
we'll
on
give
an
them the actual
A, so that's an A, which is a third below middle C, and the time signature is 6/8, and we have 4 measures. Okay, so that's the map. Here we go. A 1 and 2. Ready, go. Should we hear it one more time?
I think so.
All right,
Yeah,
here it is. Here it is. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Very nice. Very nice. So if we were going to talk through this, how would we figure this out?
All right. Well, one thing you can do to start off with is try to get a sense of where it starts, what key it starts in, and what key it ends in, right? So, if you can sing back the first note, and presumably it ends on Do, okay? So sing those back, get the relationship in. You know, because it's always the middle that's the hardest in dictation, right? So if you get the beginning and the end, then you can always work backwards, and usually that's a great strategy.
Right, and we told you where it started, right?
On A.
We started it
on Do, A, yeah. So, okay, now, since we're working through this, we need to think about sort of what the proportion is. Does it start to change key right away, or does it change key at the last minute, or do you get a sense that it's somewhere in the middle? Well, let's listen to it one more time, trying to figure out where presumably it changes the key the most, where the most likely place is. So here it is again. Ready? And go. Okay, so by this time, you've probably figured out that the starting note there is related to the ending note by third, right? So the last note is a third below the first note. And what kind of a third? Well, a major third, of course. So what have we got there? Well, if we start in A minor, right, then what's a minor third below A? Well, F, right? Okay, good. So now, F major, what's that relationship to A minor? Well, if we think of the relative major of A minor, that's C major, right? And so F is the subdominant. So this is one of those closely related keys because the key signature is just one accidental different from the starting. So the new key signature is just one accidental different from the starting key signature. But it's sort of one of those more funny ones because it's the subdominant relationship of the relative major. So, now, we have to think through the first half. Let's get through the first half and lock in the home key first. So let's hear it from the beginning here, and I'll stop in the middle. Here we go. Right? So that sounds like it's all in A minor, right? And so when I asked the question earlier about sort of where does this change, well, you can think right in the middle, right? So already in the downbeat of the third measure, we have do in the new key. So now, if we put do in the new key on the downbeat of measure 3, how do we get there? Well, what happens right before do in the new key? That sounds like a dominant 7th chord, doesn't it? In an inversion. And if the new key is do here, then T is right below it. So what do we have when we have this sound T, Re, Fa, Sol, right? T, Re, Fa, Sol right before a tonic chord? What is that? 5-6-5.
Sol, Ti, Re,
right?
Fa is a
Sol, Ti,
dominant
Re, Fa.
7.
It's a 5-6-5 chord. So now, if you can think about how this works, let's think about the syllables once, slowly. Right, so there's do, and then that would be may in the old key, but sol in the new key. Fa, re, ti, do. Right? So that's where the syllable swap happens. It happens right before the third measure. Okay? Now, additionally, you might note in measure 2. Now, that's a tricky interval, isn't that? That outlines a chord you've heard before. Right? So that's, what is that? Lay down to T. Lay, T. So that's your 707 in the old key, right?
7 diminished 7.
7 diminished.
Yeah.
707, 007, whatever you want to call it. Lay, Ti, do, and then sol. So that'll get you to the new key. That's how you swap syllables, and that's how you might hear modulation to the, what is it called? What key?
Modulation to
sub-mediant.
Sub-mediant. Yeah, I think you called it subdominant before. Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah, because it's the relative major is C, and then the subdominant of the relative major is F.
Right.
But in relation directly to A, it's the
submediant.
submediant. Right.
So if you are writing this out, when you need to write in accidentals, my students know we have a little mantra, right? Minor key check for T.
Oh.
Because you need to put a sharp on that T.
They always forget T.
You know,
my students
you need
too.
to remember T. It's important in other cultures other than Japanese culture.
It is.
As well.
Right.
But
yeah, you got to think about T, make sure that accidental is there. And let me tell you something. Measure 2, you got to watch. There's a lot of accidentals in measure 2, right? Because we have T in the original key, right? But then that gets corrected at the end of the measure when we arpeggiate 5-6-5 in the new key.
Yeah.
So you got to be very careful with that. And also, because we're going to F major, obviously A minor, no sharps, no flats, easy. But F major, 1 flat, so you got to be sure that's notated. Because if it's not notated, it's totally wrong. Right? No, seriously. I mean, because you'd play something different, and everybody would be scratching their head and be like, whoever wrote this didn't understand what was going on. Right?
Okay, Paul, you and I we're doing more videos together.
We are? All right, man.
Dude, all right. So, hey, I hope you liked this, and if you didn't, it's all right. There will be another one.